What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBit Solutions. Hope that you guys are all having an amazing Tuesday. I do apologize, first of all, for the late upload, but I'm going to get straight to the point. I'm going to try to make this video as easy as possible. It has been a very requested video within our TechBit Solutions community. First of all, for those that don't know who it is that I am, that are watching this video, that just want to understand the difference from the SMA indicator and the EMA indicator, first of all, if you don't know what they are, I have individual videos explaining what EMA and SMA are. The reason that I'm making this video is not just to talk about the difference between those two, but to talk about how is it that I've used them and leveraged them when it comes down to day trading and to swing trading. I think when it comes down to, if you guys are anything like me, when it comes down to I can talk about it and try to educate you guys the most I can, or someone can try to educate me the most they can about EMA or SMA, but in reality, I just want you to know how is it that they use it, how is it that it's led to their success, and how is it that I can utilize their best practices or their mistakes with these specific indicators into, making it to be a part of my success. So first of all, I want to thank, right, where are they? Right here. Right there. So all these people that are joining us live right now. So we got Steven, Matthew, what's going on? So bro, you got a new shirt? I know, finally I wear something new, right? So if you guys aren't a part of our TechBit Solutions community, you guys 100% don't have to. We have a little bit over 90,000 members within our trading community. It's the third link in the description. Also, if you aren't subscribed, we have a little bit over, I think, 136,000 subscribers. We would love to be a part of your success. I upload daily videos, usually Monday through Friday. I upload 2 times a day. And it's usually about my profits is my first video. So today I closed the day a little bit over $1,600 profit. You guys can watch my video. I talk about my trades, I show my trades, I do all that good stuff. But in reality, what I want to talk about was I want you guys to focus on patterns, and I'm going to go on a little rant at the very end. And for all those that are saying, well, I don't really want to hear that, I could promise you that this is something that I think this is where people that join us live is where they resonate the most, the best with, because it's I think very effective. So thank you guys again for tuning in, and let me go ahead and start giving you guys examples of the SMA and the EMA. So I'm going to do a very simple breakdown. So I'm going to talk about for both swing trading and for day trading. I'm going to kind of just give you guys some references. So first of all, for this, I'm going to give you a very quick example of the EMA indicator. So the EMA indicator, if you guys don't know how to determine what that looks like, first of all, I'm using the TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim platform. It's the platform that I use. I do recommend it. I'm not paid to say that. If you don't want to use it, 100% you don't have to use it. Okay, Google, pause. And as you guys can see, this blue line, that's why I went on the thumbnail, the blue line is the EMA. That's what I have it as. That's my color preference. That's what I set it at. Great. This green line is the SMA indicator. That's the simple moving average. The blue line is exponential moving average. What's the difference between both? So the EMA is very similar to the SMA. And the reason that I say that is the only difference that I've noticed between the EMA and the SMA is, well, the EMA is a little bit more, I think it reacts a little bit quicker. So it moves faster, in my opinion. So I tend to leverage it more for day trades. It makes sense, right? For SMA, because it moves a little bit slower, I tend to use it more for swing trades. But I still have used the SMA, right? The slower moving one. So the simple moving average, the green line. I'm going to call it the green line and then the blue line, just to keep it very simple. Blue line, EMA. I've used that even for swing trades. I mean, I use that almost for a full-on confirmation for a swing trade. I've also used the SMA, which is the green line, as an intraday plays. I'm going to talk about, so you guys know the difference. So the blue line moves a little bit quicker than the green line, so it tends to be a better indicator for intraday plays. So all within one day on the maybe the 1 day 1 minute. If you're trying to day trade something, it tends to be more of a relative or more of a exponential indicator, just because it moves a little bit quicker. So I'm going to give you guys some examples on how I actually use the EMA today, and it was on my position. I think my profit should still be able to show. Let me see. Yeah, so 636 on Tesla, 462 on X, and then gosh, 565. Perfect. So you guys, for those that are part of my Learn Plan Profit group, that's my private group, you guys were in my call. You guys were in my call in the morning, and you guys heard when I took a position on Gush, and it's a private group that I have. It's the first link in the description. I speak to them every single day, and the most effective part I think has to be, I mean, there's a course which explains to you everything it is that you need to know in my experience of investing in the stock market, but most importantly, it's the live chat. So I talked about this pattern, overall resistance that we could see, again, sticking to the very basics, support and resistance. I saw resistance based on pre-market highs. I'm going to remove level 2. Pre-market highs is around $22. I saw this pullback, it pushed up. I was like, guys, maybe it's time to profit. Maybe it's time to cover profits. I was up $400 on that position. Guess what happened? It got rejected. I knew it was going to get rejected. But, I mean, I didn't know 100%, but based off previous patterns, it made sense on why there would be a resistance at around $22. The top VWAP indicator, resistance there, previous highs, potential resistance there, and it was showing consolidation. Again, I had FOMO, fear of missing out, for it to continue to push up. I didn't cover. I was up 400. It pulled all the way back down, and this is what I want you guys to focus on. This EMA line. So the SMA indicator wasn't so much of a relative, very important indicator, I think, with the sell-off. What was more important was in the intraday play, I was using this blue line. I saw that every time, and I talked about this in the Learn Plan Profit Group voice chat, it was getting rejected, and every time that it would try to bounce, it would get rejected by this 1 day, 1 minute EMA indicator. It would drop down again, try to push up, get rejected. So the EMA indicator was acting as a resistance. So question comes out, is the EMA indicator intraday always a resistance? No, just like support levels. So you saw that it sold off, got rejected, sold off, did some consolidation, so really started to flatline, and boom, we popped above. Now the EMA line is pointing up, showing signs of an uptrend. The candles are now trending above the EMA line, so it's showing signs of an uptrend pattern. And not only just that, but when it pushes up, and then now it pulls back, the EMA line acts as a support. That's very important to know. I've talked about this multiple times, so I'm talking about how I use the EMA line as an indicator. So what I said, if you're part of the Learn Plan Profit Group, you guys can call me out on this if I didn't say this, but when it sold off, I didn't care about when it was starting to recover or buying at the lowest price point. That's not what was important to me. I wanted to make sure that what I was investing in when I took another position, when it was actively trending up, that I was investing in something that was actively trending up and that was not a falling knife, right? Very simple breakdown. So I didn't just wait for the break above above the EMA. The reason why is multiple times, so I'm going to give you an example. Even when it does break above the EMA, sometimes it pushes up and then gets rejected and then continues to trend down. What I wanted to see was a push up, pull back. So a pullback confirmation. When it breaks above the EMA, it pulls back, and then the EMA acts as a support. So when it validates that uptrend pattern, that upward staircase pattern, and that's exactly what it did. I think I got filled at like 20. So it hit highs of like almost 21.20. It pulled back, and then I got filled at like 21.10 or something like that. And that's where my average was. Man, there's these flies everywhere. I apologize. And then it was showing signs of this uptrend pattern. And again, where did I sell? Previous resistance at around $22. So if you're part of the Learn Plan Profit Group, if you're part of TechBuild Solutions, you would have heard me call out, gosh, I am going to sell you at $22 or close to or near to $22. It made sense to me. There was a resistance there. I didn't want to be greedy. I knew that that was a previous resistance. And then look what happened. Staircase pattern, upward staircase pattern, you can see that it's starting to show some signs of resistance. It peaked out, and again, then what happened? It broke below the EMA line and then started to show signs of a downward pattern. So again, it consolidated, and then do you see this? This SMA line now started to act more as it was consolidating more as the stock, the volume became much less, the volume started to decrease, and as the volume started to decrease, all the hype necessarily wasn't there, so it really started to consolidate. And now you can see this SMA indicator, so the green line is now acting more of a support. Do you guys see that? So do you see how it was kind of acting as a resistance when it got rejected, and it pushed up, got rejected, and then it continued to show signs of an uptrend? So again, these EMA lines and these SMA lines are very important to use, and in my opinion, you should never rely on any indicator for a confirmation for a trade. I want you guys all to understand that. But what I do want you guys to understand is that when there is some form of like resistance or support, as in like when it's showing some signs of an uptrend pattern, it pulls back and it shows some form of support. If it's acting as support and then the candles break below, then it's going to most likely act as a resistance. So don't just think that EMA lines or SMA lines are just support levels. They can also act as resistance levels. And I'm going to give you an example on that. So, I use the EMA line as an intraday play. Now I want to talk about almost 180-day analysis. I want to talk about something like Tesla, Oracle. So Oracle has been showing signs of a continuous downward pattern, and I talk about this all the time. I use the EMA line, the blue line, as a form of confirmation when something is actively trending down or actively trending up. And I do this on the 4-hour 180-day chart. So very simple breakdown. EMA line, if I would put a cursor right here, it would point down, showing signs of a downward pattern. You can see that every time that it consolidates, it pushes up, it gets rejected by this EMA line. Pulls back, consolidates, pushes up, gets pushed down. Consolidates, pushes up, gets pushed down. Although it does break above the EMA line sometimes, again, that's why it's so important. Perfect example. It pushed up above the EMA. That's great and all for that one day. The market has been so volatile that, again, it gets rejected and it makes lower lows. What I want to see is for there to be a push up, a pull back, and a bounce on the EMA line, and for there to be a continuous uptrend pattern. And because the market has been so volatile, I haven't seen this with Oracle, I haven't seen this with Amazon. Again, continuously getting rejected. This is why it's so important to see. This is a downward pattern getting rejected by this SMA, the EMA indicator, right? Same thing with Facebook. Again, getting rejected by this SMA indicator. No, that's the wrong ticker. What is it? I'm so tired, guys. My goodness. Twitter. Getting rejected by the EMA indicator. But as you guys could see, you guys could use both the EMA indicator for intraday plays and for swing trades. Just wanted to talk about that. I like to wait for overall confirmations, and I like to use them as support and resistance levels, like indicators. So when the candles are actively trending above the EMA and they pull back, it acts as support. But then when the candles break below the EMA indicator, the blue line, right? And then it starts to act more as a resistance. Very simple breakdown, both intraday and so day trades, and both for the 180 days. Now, because I am definitely known more as a conservative investor, and you guys can watch a series of my videos, I always do breakdowns on the 180-day chart. I use the SMA indicator pretty actively, right? Not only when breaking down, I mean, I've used it multiple times to try to identify patterns of like a potential cup reversal, so you could see it a little bit better like this. Do you see how it's acting more as a cup formation? So it's showing signs that it has potential, like recovery potential. So I use the SMA indicator like that. But in reality, again, because the simple moving average just moves a little bit slower than the exponential moving average, I find it to be more effective, in my opinion, with swing trades. My opinion does not mean anything to you. I'm just sharing how it is that I use it when it comes down to intraday plays or overall swing trades. But also, if you go to the 1-day, 1-minute chart, as you can see, when it actively breaks above, the SMA, you can see that it does act as a support. You can see it validating this, and you can see, again, it's just nice to have these indicators up there. I have my indicator for the SMA set at a length of 180. That's my preference. I have the length of my EMA right now set at a length of 15. And I'll explain that in just a little bit. But as you can see, if you have the SMA indicator going on and then you see some consolidation, you could see why it's starting to really validate not only the support at around like the 265, but again, this SMA indicator pushes up, and again, it tries to consolidate right around that line. It's, I think, important to have these indicators. At least it's really assisted me. It hasn't led to my success, but it's assisted me in my success and getting a better understanding on how these stocks and ETFs are trading. This is Tesla. Let's go ahead and talk about, Gush, right? Gush is an ETF actively trending up, and again, it validates the support, the SMA line as a support level. It validates the top VWAP as a resistance level. I have a video about the VWAP indicators. That's VWAP if you want to YouTube it yourself. If you're part of my course group, I have a series of videos talking about the VWAP and how is it that I leverage it for day trades. Very simple breakdown. Something for like JDST, I'm actually going to do a breakdown on the 180-day analysis. Sometimes you could see that the SMA indicator acts as a resistance, right? And you can see that when it pushes up, although it's showing, there's usually a margin from $50 to $60 based on previous patterns, you need to be very careful for this SMA indicator because sometimes it can act as a resistance. I think CPG, if it's still up here, it's not up here anymore. CPG has proven that multiple times. Do you see this, that it used to offer a margin from like $6.50 all the way up to $8, but the last time that it tried to push up, this SMA indicator acted as a resistance, and again, it sold off, and although the overall resistance was there, it pushed up, and again, it got rejected by that SMA indicator. It's just important, like, in my opinion, it's a useful indicator. I tend to use the green line SMA indicator as more for swing trades and more long-term patterns, which has really assisted me in my success. I try to look at how the overall SMA indicator is trending. So if it's showing more of a peak formation, so more of a, kind of like peak, so it's going to show signs of a reversal. I think that's very easy to see. So let's see. Two anchors. So do you see this? So that's why when it came down to Tesla, I see Tesla showing more signs of a downward pattern. Oh, Amazon is like an amazing example about this. Amazon, this SMA indicator, always showed signs of when it was at, where it was potentially a good buy, right? But do you see now that this SMA line, again, put an arrow at the very end, the very tip of the line. What direction was it pointing at if I would have put an arrow right here, right? It would have been pointing up, 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 right? Even when it pulled back, it would have been pointing up. But do you see now, because the overall market conditions have changed, that the SMA line is showing almost more of a peak formation? And just try to picture how this is going to continue. Based off previous patterns, if it's a peak, right, it would make sense on why it would go like this and then start to decline. It makes sense, right? Same thing with a cup formation, something like, I guess drip isn't a great example, or something like this. Gosh, again, acting more as a resistance. And do you see that every time that it approaches this overall resistance on this SMA line, it acts as a resistance? Very simple breakdown. Same thing with this. This is more of a peak formation. Give me a, okay, so this is more of a cup formation or an overall ascending uptrend pattern. I think you guys get the point. Just wanted to break it down and give you guys a very quick breakdown. 15 minutes. I guess it's not very quick, I'm sorry. But I wanted to give you guys a thorough breakdown. Whoa, Mike, what's going on, bud? You guys don't have to donate anything. Appreciate that, though. I really do. IO. So it looks like you guys want me to do a breakdown on IO. Give me 1 quick minute, and I'll do a breakdown on IO for you. But let me just end it. And I want to just make sure that I'm not doing any technical analysis right now. I'll do one on IO, but that's it. So what I wanted to talk about was, what you guys just saw are ways that I use certain indicators to have a better understanding if a stock is going to actively trend up or actively trend down. The EMA and the SMA, especially the EMA, for intraday plays and for swing trades. So on swing trades, I look at the overall 180-day analysis on the 4-hour chart, and I use my EMA indicator with a length of anywhere from 15 to 20, depending on how loose or how tight I want it, however it reacts. However it reacts better to the overall pattern. So you can mess around with it, and however it reacts better. That has to be one of the most important indicators that I use. Support and resistance is very important for me, and then it has to do with the EMA line. I want to make sure that what I'm investing in is actively trending up. So with that understanding, I want to make sure that the EMA line is pointing up. Confirmation is key, and the reason that I'm making this video is because if you guys saw the video that I uploaded before this, I did very well today, right? Over $1,600 profit. And when it comes down to me doing well, I want to make sure that not everyone gets hyped up that we're all going to do well. I think with the market and how the market has been performing, I've talked about it all within the past 3 weeks. The market has been very volatile. It's been very risky, right? And that's why I always tell you guys, cover profits, right? Especially with the current market conditions. I need you guys to understand with all these huge Fortune 500 companies that are not doing well. Yes, they're oversold, but they're not doing well. They're not actively trading up. They're continuously getting rejected by the 180-day EMA. And I just want to remind you guys and make this video. And I'm going to make a more detailed video for the people that are part of the Learn Plan Profit course, just a little bit more in depth and giving you guys more examples. This is weird. Okay. But the reason that I'm making this is because I want you guys, if you can, for anyone that's having trouble understanding or focusing on stocks that are actively trending up, again, what is it that I look for a stock to make me money? These are just my patterns, and this is what I see value in. These aren't any suggestions, but I focus on patterns that are actively trending up, so showing signs of an ascending uptrend pattern or very horizontal patterns for me to be able to see the low points, the high points, support and resistance levels, and I wait for confirmation. I wait for the reversal, not just for one day, but for a series of days or the pullback confirmation for there to be an understanding of how something can actively start trending up. just wanted to make a video talking about it, showing you guys the difference between SMA and EMA. How is it that I use it for day trades, for swing trades, and I hope that you guys all have a better understanding on how to be able to lock in consistent profits. And that's actually a pretty good question. Bassmaster Films is asking, SMA and EMA work for OTCs. Based on my understanding for OTC stocks, just because they are extremely volatile, again, every market is profitable. I don't trade OTC stocks. That's Brad. He's within our OTC stock group. And based on my understanding on his approach with investing in OTCs, it's a little bit more based on fundamentals and what news is going to come out that's going to act as catalyst to drive the price up. Based on my understanding. That's not my style of investing. That's not my niche. I tend to do pretty good, especially with ETFs and more of the technical style of trading. If you guys have seen, please, like if this is the first video that you guys have ever watched about me, I don't want you guys just to think that I want you guys to build your own opinion about me. Watch the past 2-week videos that I've made. For those that are just trying to get started, I have a playlist within my YouTube channel called the Helpful Video Playlist that I've created that answers a bunch of FAQs. And I want you guys to use that to get an understanding of what me and my community are about and what it is that we're doing to make trading much easier to understand. I try to make it fun. I'm sorry that I'm kind of monotone right now. I'm extremely tired, and I definitely think I need to catch up on some rest. But I just want to be a daily reminder that, and I repeat this almost in every single video, never trade based on other people's opinion. Never invest in what you don't understand, and always have a plan when investing. I know I say it all the time. Wait for confirmation when something, if you want to invest in something and grow your account, make sure it's showing some form of pattern or understanding that it's actively trending up. Don't rely on hope. Don't be impatient. Don't take a position just for the heck of it because you have access to the brokerage and you have access to the money. This is not a market where you get lucky. 95% of the people lose money investing in the stock market. What is it that 5% of us are doing? We are actually understanding what it is that we're investing in before taking that position, or at least the pattern, to see if there's a breakup pattern. I can quickly cut losses. Again, it's about being smart, or at least having an edge on the general public. And I really think if you watch this video this far, then you have somewhat of an interest and you probably a capacity to understand what it is that I'm doing in the stock market, right? And you have some form of motivation to really do well in the market. It is going to take time. My $1,600 profit or my $3,800 week last week, it didn't just come from just maybe a week of trading. Yes, we have a couple traders or a series of traders that are doing very well within our private group within TechButt Solutions within a short period of time, but it's not even about that. It's about knowing that there's always so much more to learn, and I learn new things every single day. I love what it is that I do, and I have the blessing to be able to make money out of investing money, and it's an amazing, I think, opportunity. So thank you guys again for everything it is that you guys do. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. It was a very highly requested video. I hope that it could really guide you guys in the right direction. And if there's any new video that you guys would like me to make for you guys, just feel free to comment down below. So not in the live chat, but after this video publishes, there's going to be a comment section. Feel free to comment down below what videos you would like me to make, but please make sure that I don't have the videos up already. I have over 700 videos on YouTube, and I would really encourage you to review my channel, review my community. It's a free community, and if you guys really like what it is that I'm doing and like my teaching style, I would love to have you and work with you every single day as part of my private group, and that's the first link in the description. So invest 30 seconds, check out the links in the description, and I would love to be a part of your success, or at least stay connected to see if I can act as some form of catalyst to assist you in any way. So yeah, 100%. So 100%. And I actually read I read this comment, and I didn't know how to take it. So I'm pretty open to other people's opinion. So there's this comment from so I posted this today, right? This is within our TechButt Solutions. So first of all, for those that join TechButt Solutions, once you get accepted, on the top pinned post, please, this is where you're going to join our free Discord chat, and then this is where you'll have access to the Learn Plan Profit course. You can click see more, and it tells you all our rules and stuff like that. So feel free to join that. Other than that, then you guys can go right here, and you guys can also see that or you can see that there was this comment like, there's a lot of support and stuff like that, and then we got this question saying like, is this guy real? Like, I recently started watching Ricky's videos of the new group. He seems like an amazing guy, almost seems too good to be true. For those that have been in the group longer, is it actually possible to be that successful? And this is what I like that. I obviously I feel like I have a pretty strong community behind me, right? I work very well with people, and people tend to like really like me and what it is that I do. But I think it's because I don't I don't sell alerts. I will never tell you where to buy and sell. And I didn't know how to take, like, if you guys want to comment right now, I didn't know how to respond to that, because they're asking if what I'm doing is real. And I think it's because the dollar value that I'm making per, what's it called? The dollar value that I'm making per day is pretty high, right? And there's no question about that. It is a lot of money, $1,600. I mean, some people make that a month, and I get that. But no. And it's not even about that. It's not that like I was offended or anything like that. It's just I want to know what it is that you think that I should do to work well with everyone. Because I think something I'm sharing, and I don't even know if I should be sharing this, but in my opinion, the whole point of the reason that I respond to all my Discord messages so you have the opportunity, you have the option of, if you're joining my free group, anyone can direct message me. I would really encourage you to direct message me if you can't find your question online, and I respond within 12 to 24 hours. I dedicate like, I think like 3 to 4 hours every single day responding to messages. But the reason that I do that is so I can actually have and build a relationship with each and every single person within my community that wants to reach out to me. I think that's huge value that I wish I had when I first started investing. And you guys know that I don't just invest in the stock market. I mean, I buy and resell cars. I have a McLaren, a GTR, an M3. I have a Corvette C7. We have a series of cars. I have a series of properties. I bought my first house by age 20. And I think not only do you guys see me and value me as an investor in the stock market, but in multiple markets. And I think that's why I work very well with people, because anyone can talk to me about any form of investing, and I feel like I have a pretty general knowledge of how to successfully invest. And I just wanted to ask you, is there anything that I can do to work better or not feel like so out of reach? And that's what I want you guys to understand. I talk about that my normal positions are anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000. I talk about consistent profits and covering profits on a consistent basis. If you're up 3%, if you're up 5% on the day, regardless of what it is, profit is profit, and I will cover it time after time. You guys have seen that I've consistently been, growing my account on a consistent basis, and I show all my profits, I show all my trades and stuff like that. I'm just trying to do what it is that you guys want, but I want to make sure that it's something that you guys understand and that just doesn't seem so out of reach. Because if that's the point, I would much rather go back to trading with a $5,000 account and make the couple $100 profit. Because if it comes down to me being so far-fetched, then I wouldn't want to reach out to someone that is so out of reach, because I won't really relate to them. And I just wanted to ask you, like, what is it that you guys would like me to do? I'm not asking like, should I change myself or anything like that. I'm just asking you guys for any tips, something that you think that I can do to improve my community, because I always want to hear what it is that I can do to make both my TechBuild Solutions community better and also the Learn Plan Profit group. So I'll leave you guys with that. And yeah, so thank you guys again so much for your time. Continue working hard, continue following your dreams. Let your passion be what drives in your success. And like always, guys, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy.